My opinion about the field of therapy, just as an outsider looking in, is the same as my feeling about the corporate consulting, is the same as my feeling about education. In the last 30 years, a lot of what's enabled a lot of this rot is that every one of these fields got colonized, not necessarily by the long march through the institutions, although that definitely happened, the leftist incursion, but just by this kind of like new thing fad culture. It's like, all the therapy or treatment that we've done for this, it's easier to do this outside of therapy, but like in corporate consulting, like all the business acumen that we've developed over the last, 1,000 years or whatever is out the window, because now we have this like new thing that has a cool acronym that got packaged up by Deloitte and Boston Consulting Group for $1 million a pop to tell you with a folder. And so everybody goes and sells that for 5 years. And then 5 years later, like that's not a product anymore because all the businesses know it. So they cook up some new 5-letter acronym, and then it's the wedge. And everybody has to learn like wedge or whatever, and everybody has to do it. And it's like there's this cycle of fads, and it turns out that this grifter crap from the left actually came in through a lot of that. And I feel like psychology has been really bad for that. Like the replication crisis is partly down to the fact that you are highly rewarded for a shocking new result, not a result that confirms something people already know or the disconfirmation of BS. But if you come up with something that's like, famously Amy Cuddy came up with this, if you stand in this position like Superman, your testosterone goes up. Like you're on TV, you have all these opportunities, you're writing a book, you get a endowed chair. And it turns out that these big splashy, fatty kind of things that incentivizes all the wrong kind of stuff that leads to the replication crisis, right? And so the same thing happens, though, in clinical practice as well. Oh, we have to move from this kind of therapy, blah, 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 behavioral therapy, to this kind of blah, 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 behavioral therapy, to the other thing, behavioral therapy. And now we have something with a fucking hyphen in it, behavioral therapy. And it just like continues, and it's just fads. It's primarily so people can sell continuing education credits and consulting gigs. And like, the field has to get back to brass tacks and basics, I think. And, do we care about evidence? Do we care about helping clients or patients, depending on the context? Do we have, methods like cognitive behavioral therapy that are known to be highly effective in certain circumstances, but have their limitations? Can we recognize the limitations of scope of practice and so on? The articulation of even the philosophy, what is the therapist supposed to do? What are they supposed to accomplish? Like those kinds of articulations, these foundational things have to be restored, because the old foundations were taken for granted and then ground by the critical method into sand. So new, clear foundations have to be written that go back to the things that were working and are not updating them, not some new dialectical nonsense. You have to be able to figure out a way to articulate those in the present context and then build organizations around that.